What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, sets out to make changes to training by weeding out snakes in the grass. Wow. And this is what he had to say about the whole ordeal. He says, first of all, it says Wilder still looks set to make changes, noting that there are snakes in the grass, or snakes in his team, who are jealous. I'm getting rid of all the snakes in the grass. He says this time has allowed me to dig the weeds and see what was going on. Ooh, okay. You can have a lot of great people around you, but you cannot control the jealousy of people. You think people are happy with you, but everyone wants what you have, but they don't want to sacrifice as much as you do. People are envious of the things they can't have, and I had to weed out and change certain things. Wilder said that multiple people have reached out to him to help him with training, and 2 have been brought in for that purpose. Okay. He says, we've had a lot of people reaching out, but you have to be careful because some people just want publicity. He said, boxing is very crooked. It's a dirty business, and you've got to be careful. It's a corrupt sport as well. You've got to be careful with the people and the intentions, especially when they weren't around before. Boxing is a business like no other. You've got to be able to trust people, and that's the hard part. He said, I'm looking to bring in someone. We don't have it down yet, but I've got 2 people in mind I'm bringing in. One of them always comes to camp on some basis anyway, and we've got a great team that will be formed with everything when everything gets back to normal. Those are the words of Deontay Wilder. This raises a lot of questions, because the way this is sounding, you would hear them by, he's like, hey, I'm getting rid of snakes in the grass, and he's like, you think people are happy with you, but everyone wants what you have, but they don't want it. They don't want to sacrifice as much as you do. So I'm thinking, okay, well, the first thing I came to mind when he said snakes in the grass, and jealousy, you think about Mark Breland throwing the towel in, and then you also think about JD's in the press conference, okay? Him along with, who else was there? It was JD's and it was Shelly Finkel, right? Now, they were speaking on the behalf of Deontay Wilder because he had to get, checked out or whatnot, at that particular point of time. So, and they were talking for him, and they mentioned, oh, well, JD's mentioned, well, no, I didn't want to stop the fight. No, I didn't authorize that. Now, see, that's automatically putting Mark Breland at risk and under the bus, throwing him under the bus right there because he was the one that made that decision, okay? And my thing is, if Mark Breland wasn't allowed to throw in the towel, why did he do it if he wasn't allowed to? You know what I mean? Someone had to give him that power to do so. Nonetheless, I think it was a good call, but then it still doesn't explain who he was referring to, because a lot of these times people say they're happy with you, but they don't want to sacrifice as much as you do. I mean, I don't understand that, because now that could be someone maybe in strength and conditioning, but then it's almost like someone wants something that he wants, and that's actually envy, okay, not jealousy. Okay, but I digress. Nonetheless, Wilder says he has to weed out the snakes. So I'm thinking, okay, well, who the hell can it be? But right off the top of your head, it's definitely Mark Breland could be one. So if you don't see Mark Breland, you understand why. That's the only way we'll know anyway. But he says one person comes to his training camp anyway, so he might just bring him along and bring him in. But it's strange that a person would say that he has snakes in his camp, okay, or snakes in the grass or whatever, And I know he's beating the grass or startling the grass to rattle the snakes, right? And it's like, I get what he's trying to say, but at the end of the day, I think this is another way, honestly, that he's trying to pin his loss on somebody else. You coming from a guy that I don't know how he trained the last time, but I do know what he was referring to when he said, I always got away with certain things. And since you've always got away with certain things and you had it kind of easy in camp, you got to ask yourself who allowed you to have it that easy. And if that's the case, that's the people that you might want to get rid of because they're doing it for a check and not really pushing you to see your full potential. Okay? So to me, that may be what he was referring to. And again, that could be a strength and conditioning coach. That could be Mark Breland. You know what I mean? It sure the hell ain't JD's, right? Unless JD's is not showing him something or whatever. But, this sounds like someone that he spars with almost, because it's like someone that he says that they don't want to sacrifice as much as I do. So what does that person do? Is that person also a boxer? Because it sounds like that's the case. It sounds like he has people that works with him that doesn't like to see him succeed, right? Or wants something that he has that's envious of him. So that has to be somebody that he already knows. But here's the thing. What does that have to do with his loss? How could that contribute to the way he lost in that fight? And the reason why I do bring up strength and conditioning, because this man was dog tired in the third round. Dog tired. Sure, you had an off night, but people can have an off night from reflexes or, just not closing the distance, or, you know what I mean? It's just like missing a jump shot here and there. That's an off night to a fighter. You just can't, close the deal. You can't explode the hole. You can't find that target the way you want to. But being tired, being gassed, that's a totally different situation. Okay? That's something where it has to do with you and why is your stamina the way it is now. He wasn't sick. Remember, he was sick in the first Ortiz fight. It wasn't an excuse, but that's what they mentioned. It's okay because he won. But that was, one of the reasons he was so skinny. Did someone, did he hire a nutritionist so he could eat, or did he overeat, or did the guy, you know what I mean? Because to me, it sounds more like it was people people were purposely trying to sabotage him in this fight. That's why he performed the way he performed. And again, this doesn't really tell you a lot of detail. And I don't like that, because it's like, okay, tell us who you think was that. Call them out, That he say, people are envious of things they can't have. See, that's another thing. And I have to weed out and change certain things. Well, I think you just need to change certain things. But again, if it's him and it's what he's doing. See, here's the problem. And Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz are with the same shit at this point. Because if they're getting rid of people, right? And Andy Ruiz was well off. But it's the thing, you have to own up to and be accountable for the things that you do. If Deontay Wilder didn't train like he's supposed to, okay, he needs to work on training so he'll be in better shape. I've never seen him in that type of shape. So that might have told you if he did the same things to get prepared for Dominic Breazeale, which he did go back to the basics, right? That wasn't that long ago. That was like 8 months ago when he fought Breazeale. And he went back to the basics. That means that he was doing things that he should have been doing. Now the question is, did he continue doing those when he fought Luis Ortiz the second time and Tyson Fury for the second time? Did he do the same things and just add weight on? Because if that's the case, who can he blame at that point? Blame the person that thought it was a good idea for you to gain more weight, to gain 10 pounds or more, right? That's no one's fault but whoever mentioned that. So if that's the case, that's really a misdemeanor. Like, a misdiagnosis of what they think he could do or should do and how he should come in. Obviously, he should be smaller. Use what God gave you, right? Don't use against what God gave you. He didn't supposed to be that heavy, okay? Joshua learned the hard way. So did he. But I don't understand what he's meaning by weeding out the snakes. Changing things, sure. Getting rid of people, well, if that's the case, if they let you do what you wanted to do, you should have got rid of them in the first place, okay? Because there's no way he sits there and, I got away with a lot of stuff in camp. Okay, ask yourself this question, guys. Do you think Teddy Atlas would let Deontay Wilder slip out like that? You think he'll be okay training a person, putting his reputation on the line, and letting Deontay Wilder cut corners, have an easy day in training? No. If Deontay Wilder's complaining about training, he's going to complain a lot with a guy like Teddy Atlas. So again, if it's something like that, he should have done that a long time ago. So it could be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just curious on who this actually was, or these snakes in the grass. Because it sounds like, top of my head again, Mark Breland, right? So if he gets rid of Mark Breland, Mark Breland was one of those guys. But remember something, if he does that and he gets himself in the same situation, he might end up in a bad situation because he's not going to have someone experienced and can empathize with him being beat like that to stop the fight, to do something that helped him. See, what Deontay Wilder doesn't understand, people, if he gets rid of Mark Breland, right, he's getting rid of the person that allowed him to come into the third fight the way he's going to come in. See, each fight, you're never the same as when you came out. You take some type of punishment. You might take less punishment. You might take major punishment, more punishment, okay? And you're never the same. And especially if you come off a loss with you're bleeding all over the place. He's never been down twice by a guy before, right? He got put on the seat of his ass, people, okay? So then he was just in the corner taking punches, taking punishment. So if he doesn't have a guy like Mark Breland, he might be sorry if that's the guy that he thinks is the snake in the grass. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Deontay Wilder's comments. Of course, please subscribe. Do you think he will bring in someone new? Do you think it is Mark Breland? Let me know. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.